I am on a journey to review every game I play on stream, and the latest one that I'm reviewing today is NieR Automata. Now, I think this game is a complete masterpiece. Everything down to the most minuscule details like side characters, combat, everything is just a vast improvement of what NieR Replicant was. Not to say that NieR Replicant was bad, but I think it was a very great game. I just think that this game took that formula and actually made something even better. So I'll just get into it. The story, phenomenal. It's the same formula that NieR Replicant had. You basically have different endings, but this time around it's a little bit different. You start off as one character, 2B, and then you go again through the same story as 9S. However, there's a little bit discrepancies in their stories. There's stuff that's added later on. You kind of get a better perspective of the world itself as the game goes on. And as that happens, you get to experience things like the enemies you face, what's going on in their minds, what's going on in the other characters' minds, and how that overall plays into the whole plot of the game. Now, just like NieR Replicant, there's 5 main endings, A, B, C, D, and E. So A, B is pretty much your prologue to the game, which I thought was really cool going into this again, because it's not my first time playing NieR Automata. I love the game, but after you beat A and B, and you start the next chapter, which is going through endings C, D, and E, it puts you almost immediately after where A and B ended, and after a little bit you start playing it, it does basically the whole intro of the game. So the whole A and B side was basically a prologue, and the whole like credits, the title card and everything was shown right at the beginning of your second half of the playthrough. That is just the coolest fucking thing. It is so epic. It's so amazing. I could not get enough of it. And it's just all in all wonderful. And this game does not miss a beat. And that includes stuff like the soundtrack. I love the NieR soundtrack. I listen to it constantly whenever I want to calm down a little bit. I just listen to a few character themes and it's just so nice. It's so beautiful. There's just nothing like that. And I would recommend that before you play NieR Automata, you go ahead and play NieR Replicant, because there are songs that are from NieR Replicant in NieR Automata. It's kind of like a little Easter egg, but because NieR Replicant is like the game before this, I would really suggest you play it, because there's a lot of characters from that game that interact with the characters in this game, and it really ties the whole thing together when you're hearing like certain character themes again, going to certain places that play all types of music. It's honestly amazing, and you should definitely play both those games. Now, moving on to the more intricate side of things, I'm gonna go talk about the combat. I think it's a very big improvement from NieR Replicant, mainly because so you basically have 3 types of attack, which is your lightweight weapon, which is basically a sword or a spear, and you got your heavy weapons, which are going to be like your bigger, heavier set weapons that deal bigger damage after charge attacks, so they're a bit slower. And then you have your weapon to the side, which is your pod, and that basically functions as like your grimoire vice, because you can just shoot things, launch lasers, that stuff. It kind of just gives you a little bit of an edge when it comes to combat. Now, I think this was greatly improved because the evading system was a lot better now, considering you're able to do a lot more stuff with it. You can counterattack. It kind of gives you a chance to see where you are before you make your next move, because time kind of stops a bit whenever you do it. And when it comes to the shooting side of things with the pod, they got rid of the whole magic bar that determines how much you can use at a given time, which I think is nice. I think it's par for the course because they're androids, they're robots, they don't run out of any stamina or anything, so that was really nice. It kind of let me not have to focus on as much things when it comes to combat, which I don't think is a big drawback. I kind of like that it's a nice balance of things in terms of combat and story. And that brings me to the next point, which is the endings. Now, I already like touched base on it a little bit, but after I did the main endings, I kind of went back a bit to do some of the side joke endings, and there are 26 endings total to this game, A through Z. And I guess if you're counting like the DLC one, I don't know if that counts as an ending, but probably like 27 at that point. But there's just so many fun different endings. I like how this game takes a little bit of a joke side of thing by giving you all these little ways to test out different things in the game, see what you can do, make different decisions. It even gives you endings for dying mid-game or even dying at the beginning of the game, which I think is pretty fucking funny. I didn't get to do all the endings. There's some endings that are really hard to get just because they're locked behind certain requirements, but they're still fun. It gives a lot of replayability, and it makes you want to go back to all these different chapters that would be sad the first time and makes you think like, I wonder what would happen if I did this. It's so fun. I had a really fun time going through some of these different endings that I did on stream. It was just so funny. I couldn't keep myself from laughing a little bit just because of how silly these things were and how, cruel you can be to certain characters. It's little stuff like that that I enjoy. They kind of just go ahead and mess around with the human side of things, making you question if you're really the good guy or the bad guy in these situations, and just plays a little joke on it, which is so funny. And the last thing I want to go and talk about is just the characters. Each character has their own unique personality. 2B and 9S just have such a good dynamic. You have 9S who's, really curious. He's always trying to learn new things. 2B's kind of like the cool and collected one who, tries to look out for him or tries to keep everything on track. So it's kind of fun seeing those two interact. And then when you get to other characters like A2, who is, the renegade, she's super serious. She doesn't care about anything. She's kind of like the Kaine of the universe. I just love her. And even some of the side characters like Pascal, you get to see his character grow on you a bit as you go through everything with the side missions. And even some older characters come back, like Emile. You don't really see much of him in this game, but whenever you do his side quests, you kind of see what he's been doing since the events of NieR Replicant, which is a nice detail. I love the way that they, portrayed him. And even Devil and Popola are there. It's not the ones that you see in NieR Replicant, but it kind of shows that there were tons of them, so you get to see what their trauma was and how they were treated in those events. So it was a nice bridge after playing NieR Replicant to see those characters again and see what actually happened to them later on. So overall, I would say that you should definitely play NieR Automata. It is a must-play game in my opinion. It's not too long. You're able to beat it pretty quickly if you know what you're doing, but I wouldn't do that the first time. I would say take your time with it, go through the side missions, level up a bit, and just enjoy the game, because that's basically what the whole game is supposed to be. You're supposed to take the time to learn about everything and see these characters grow and what the whole meaning of the game is. So yeah, I would say it's a definitely must play, and let me know what y'all think. But other than that though, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about this since it's still fresh on my mind. But yeah, like I said, I'll be streaming all these games and then I'll be reviewing them, so look forward to that. Other than that though, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll talk to you later. See ya.